it's a tough gig following an astronaut, probably the toughest thing you can do, but we have someone who is very much up to the challenge. One of our favorite speakers here at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, Dominique Gonçalves. So she is the manager of Elephant Ecology at the Gorongosa National Park, which is easily one of the most amazing and resplendent ecosystems in the entire world. It's always a thrill having her on to talk about elephants. And alongside that, she is also a huge advocate for girls, women in STEM, for education, for women's rights. She is an amazing speaker. You guys are in for a real treat. And without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today, Dominique, and take us away.
Hi, Jesse. Hi, it's a great pleasure to be here. And I just want to say congratulations to all women in STEM, and let's keep doing this and bringing more women with us. With no further ado, I'll just share my screen and let's hope this goes well, because every time I try this, it's not really the way.
It's gonna work.
Okay, it's working, and then I'll play.
Perfect. Yeah? You are all set.
Good. So today I'll talk again about a little bit about Gorongosa and also the elephant population in there, mostly focused on the challenges and the recovery of this amazing population. So for those of you who don't know, Gorongosa National Park is a protected area in the end of the Rift Valley, which is in central Mozambique. And where I am from exactly, actually, and because of the location right in the end of the reef and that low valley, it has a massive variety of habitats, from rainforests, Afro-montane, grasslands, and woodland savannas, floodplain, everything you can imagine. And of course, all that combination gives this area, this national park, a huge also number of diversity in terms of biodiversity, basically. And Gorongosa National Park is part of the park in Mount Gorongosa, which is where the rainforest is. And around this area, we have this gray zone that we call the buffer zone. This buffer zone is very important. You'll know why in a few minutes, but it's in this buffer zone that we have our communities living. Our communities that have about 200,000 people living around the park. And it's also in this buffer zone where all our efforts towards conservation and human development are targets for. Not only this, you might have heard before that Gorongosa is considered one of the most successful restoration projects so far. And, it was not always like that. It was not always that easy, because Gorongosa is also a dark story. It all happened during 16 years of civil war in Mozambique. The park was decimated, with the wildlife, the large mammals especially being declined from 90%. But since 2008, the restoration project started, and things are going way better now. Our wildlife numbers are coming back. But the most important thing for Gorongosa now is how we change the perception of how we do conservation in Africa, or in Mozambique, at least at this time. And this time we see Gorongosa has as a coin with both sides, and one side is human development and another side is conservation. And remember, I said we have about 200,000 people around us, and it's important for us that these people who live around this protected area, this wildlife area, is also happy. And that is why we have many programs under the human development umbrella, which is from education. I'll talk a little bit about it. Education, about health, water and sanitation, and many other things, all under the human development umbrella, really looking into our communities, and with a big emphasis also in gender equality. The other side of what we do, of course, we have in the park is the conservation side. And just like any other protected area in Africa or in the world, Gorongosa is also under threat because of the, habitat fragmentation, poaching, climate change, and including human-wildlife conflict. So our rangers are doing an amazing work keeping our species and our biodiversity protected since they started working we could say, we normally say that poaching is declined about 72%, and now we have women rangers. We are looking also protecting of other species, not only the high well-known ones, but even the small ones, and the ones that are really being targeted, such as pangolins and others. So Gorongosa has about 600 employees, and 98% of these employees are Mozambican from the communities around the park. So these are some of my colleagues. You can see over there, one of them is a women ranger. And not only that, we also focus a lot in the sustainable development, because we want our communities, we want to help lift our communities out of poverty. And to do that, we need to, we can't just rely on donors and not only to deliver our programs, but we need to become self-efficient, especially our communities. And it's under this sustainable development umbrella that we have many, many things. We do a lot of agriculture, conservation agriculture. We do honey and cashew, and most successful so far has been our coffee, our Gorongosa coffee. And it's been a success, but the most important thing about this coffee is that 100% of the profit supports our programs such as girls education, if you buy Girls Run the World, or wildlife conservation, if you buy Elephants Never Forget, or rainforest restoration, which is up in the Mount Gorongosa, where is our rainforest, if you buy Speak for the Trees. And this, I need to mention that this coffee has been growing in Mount Gorongosa under the shade of the native forest of our rainforest. Mount Gorongosa was going under fragmentation and habitat destruction, and that was the way that we also, with the community, managed to kind of try to stop that action and actually bring the rainforest back with the coffee. Of course, we also have a new science department, and the park management is mostly guided by science. Mostly, I would say, actually is guided by science. And I'm very proud to say that I'm part of the science team. And I'm even more proud to say that in the science team, I would say 98% of us are women, and mostly Mozambican women also. This is one of my colleagues, Laura Makamu. She was just the manager of our wet lab or molecular lab in the park. And it's in a science department. We have many, many things. We do many things. One of the most amazing ones I always find most amazing is documenting our biodiversity, the biodiversity of the park, because we really believe that it's hard to protect and maintain something that you don't know you have. So we have this long-term, this constant effort of documenting everything from plants, animals, fungi, everything that we could see, or even things that we are trying to find. And many of these things are new species for science. So far we have more than 6,000 plus species documented, and we also helping other places around Mozambique, around Gorongosa, other protected areas to start something like that, to start documenting their biodiversity. Besides that, the scientific department also have other programs, which is looking to key species, key habitats, monitoring and counting, for example. And one of these is the elephant program. Is one of the key species. The elephants of Gorongosa has also a dark side, a dark story, because they were one of those species that were almost completely decimated during the Civil War. They were hunted, their tusks was sold their ivory was sold to buy weapons, and they were, just to say, from 2,500 elephants in our entire area before the war. After the war, was less than 200 elephants that survived that war. So these 200 elephants that survived the war, of course, extremely traumatized with scars of war, as Dr. Paul mentioned it, and showing different kinds of behaviors. But the thing is, since the restoration started, this elephant population is growing. Now we can say that we have more than 800 elephants. And they're growing, they're reclaiming their habitat. And that is why in 2018, after I finished my master's in conservation biology, I was encouraged to start the Gorongosa Elephant Project, Ecology Project. This project aims to do long-term monitoring of our recovering population in this Gorongosa marsupial ecosystem, and also, see what's going to happen not only to the elephants in terms of behavior, but to the habitat and to the people who now live really close to these elephants. So these are some of the things we do. We do a lot of GPS coloring and tracking. When we started with just coloring and monitoring lead females of elephants, but now I can say that we have at least 23 colored elephants, male and females. We're following some family groups and some bulls and some male groups. And this is really important because knowing where elephants are, we can better protect not only the elephants, but the habitat and also the people who live next door to these animals. And it's also and there's kind of point that we also collaborate a lot with other colleagues and researchers from other institutions and universities. So this was me with our veterinary Mercia collecting fresh dung samples for one of our partners and for one of the genetics and diet studies. So this thing happened a lot during the coloring, and well, I can say it's fun. But the other thing that also is happening with this population is not just this nice recovering and reclaiming of their places, but also bring some challenges for us, to the communities, and for the elephants themselves, which is human-elephant conflict. So as you can see, Gorongosa southern border is just limited by this river, which is our river, the Pungo River. And it's quite a shallow river in certain times of the year, and it's nothing for elephants, basically. They cross back and forth, and as they cross, right other side of the river is where our communities are. And our communities are mostly farmers who depend of the farming products for their livelihoods and basic needs. So you can see that already brings a little bit of shade into this interaction between the people and the elephants. And basically what happens is our elephants cross and either walk through the farm or eat everything in the farm and destroy some of the farmers' infrastructures. And that is some of the examples of human-elephant conflict. So one of the things we do also as the Elephant Ecology Project is that we support the human-elephant coexistence team. This team is actually a team that is mostly composed by members of our communities, and just with some supervision and guidance from my colleagues and many departments of the park, such as arts and science, sustainable development with the honey, and also conservation with all other things we need to put all this together. And at this time, we have been using some of non-lethal mitigation methods. Some of them are not being used anymore, but I'm gonna stress here the beehive fences and improved silos that has been showing, really good results, not only stopping elephants to enter into farms, but also protecting the harvest once the people harvest their farms with improved silos. So if you don't know, the beehive fence is a very famous method. It was proved by Dr. King, and it started in Kenya, in Tsavo area in Kenya, and in Gorongosa was tested by Branco et al., and it showed to be very effective. So we started implementing it on a bigger scale. And so far we started with only 200 beehives to build different fences, but now we have about 600 hives. So we'll see what's the number of fences that's going to come out of this 600 beehives. The way it works is very simple. These are hives that are suspended and linked by ropes in, let's say, an elephant's entry points or around farms. And as the elephant tries to go through it, as you can see here, I hope it plays, as the elephant tries to go through, it's blocked. But what happens most of the time is that the bees come out and really sting the elephants because because of that motion that the elephant provokes on the hive. This is just from one of our camera traps exactly on the bee fence, in the beehive fence. The other nice thing about that is this beehive these bee guards produce some honey, and this is an alternative source of income or revenue for our community collaborators. These are some of my colleagues, and they were just super happy to show their honey, and I have to say the honey was delicious. This honey is also then taken, it's sold to the Sustainable Development Department of the park, and then it's all processed and sold everywhere in Mozambique, and all the revenue, of course, belongs to the community collaborators. The other thing we do is the ground monitoring. This is important. I have to say, it's not just because I like to be around the elephants in the field, but it's mostly also to monitor their behavior, see who is with who, if everyone is all right in terms of injuries, and recognizing individuals or registering new individuals. What we do also is now we started to look at the body score condition, just seeing how big the elephants are. It's looking at the actually fat reservoirs in the elephants. And I have to say that in Gorongosa, at least because of the observations we have so far, they are all in a very good shape, and with a medium an average of 3. The other thing about the monitoring is that since the park is starting to now manage this new other area, and bottom right over there, named Fulcada 12. This was a hunting concession area that since the park took over, of course, hunting stopped, and the park, our rangers, our colleagues basically cleaned the area with all the traps and snares, and now we're starting to manage it. And way before, we would go there and do biodiversity surveys, but we would, regarding elephants, all we could see was just signs. Actually, these are pictures of very fresh signs. My first time there was just very extremely old signs. It was actually hard to believe that there were elephants in there. But we know by seeing the signs that it's possible, but we didn't really know when exactly, how many. So one thing we did is to try to assess the elephant population of this area. And try to monitor, hopefully do some coloring and tracking. So we just set a camera grid of about 50 camera traps in this area. Not enough at this time, but we was just a starting point, and we started to monitor it. And it was amazing to see that not just elephants, of course, but a lot of more mammals and other interesting things that we've never seen before have been there, such as aardvarks and other things. But of course, a lot of elephants, a lot of elephant family groups, males, some with nice tusks, some with shorter tusks, some still growing, a lot of babies. And I'm so happy to say that we only did 2 monitoring, which means that we only changed the card and batteries twice since last year, exactly same time as this year, and I was already able to identify 17 different individuals. That means that I've been seeing 17 individuals again and again over through this tons of photos that we got from the camera. So this has been very exciting, and we hope that pandemic permitting, especially this year, we hope to color more elephants and really see if they go where they go, and if they actually go all the way to the Zambezi Delta. The last but not least, and there we go, we're going to talk about now girls' education. We do support the Elephant Ecology Project, does support girls' education and girls' club programs in the park. This program is a strong program under the human development side. And what we do, we basically host them sometimes as a safari, or when we can, we visit the clubs, and we act as role models. What I do when I do that is, especially I share my story, I share my work, I talk to them, they ask me questions. It's just a nice moment of girls together talking about different things, challenges in life and other things. This, for me, this is, for us, exactly, this is very important, because these girls need to to understand that they can still have a life full of opportunities. To give some context, these are rural areas of Mozambique where most of the girls drop school of age of 13, 14 and get married, and then maybe when she's 15 or 16, she already is pregnant or already lost pregnancy, something like that. So with girls club is just an after school program where girls come and they do many things, including playing, but they also master their skills in numeracy, reading, women's rights, and many other things. They get to meet people from other places, and including us as role models, but they also have time to play because they are still girls. They need to play. So this is one of the things that we do. And why is this so important? Because I I really believe that the women and girls that live in these rural places and are really in the door with these wild places that we really want to protect. They are the key. They are the ones that are gonna lead the community out of the poverty. They are the ones that are gonna really help because they are the ones that are in direct and daily interaction with nature, and they need to be able to make good choices that allow people's and wildlife well-being. And these choices only come with education. So I really believe this is, for example, my case is my example. I'm here talking about my work, and maybe I am contributing to conservation because I was able to get education. So this is just a silver lining of everything. This picture, for example, represents the day that I was with the team. We were coloring these male elephants in an area very close to these communities. And these girls, some of them, not all, they were in school and they just basically ran out of the school to see this elephant. And so many other people did, but these girls were there. And I believe that this was a kind of the same way that it was such an important, nice experience for me, and I have a beautiful memory of it. I hope that they also have it, and they see what one can be, what a girl can be once she keeps studying. So that's it. Thank you.
Dominique, what an incredible presentation as always. Thank you so much for sharing all those stories with us today. And really, you epitomize this community conservation approach that we see so often nowadays around the world, linking in the communities, linking in girls, connecting girls' education and public, access to these amazing places with saving incredible species. So thank you so much for sharing all those stories with us today. And I really appreciate you joining us. So let's dive in with some questions. We've got time for a few. There's some great ones that came in on YouTube as we were talking there. So our first one is from Fallon on YouTube. Can you buy the coffee or the honey in Canada? You talked about these amazing things. Can we get them in the US and Canada, around the world, or is it just locally that you can buy them?
I'll say honey so far is only locally, it's only in Mozambique. I think, all these policies of trading and especially with honey is more complicated. But coffee, yes, you can buy in the United States, you can buy in UK, actually even in some shops, or you can buy online, just visit our GorongosaCoffee.com or the Gorongosa National Park website.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm going to bring up that website at the end so people can check that out as well. So Meha wants to know, do you really need a master's degree in conservation to be a conservationist? I guess she wants to be a conservationist when she grows up. Is there an option for people if they don't have that sort of high-level schooling?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, it really depends on what you want to do. Maybe you want to do some research, but I don't think so. I have one of my friends actually, you can be a conservationist just by doing things in there. And then if you really need it or you want, you can get the kind of education diploma. But a lot of us, especially in the communities around, they are already conservationists without any diploma. So unless you want to do some kind of research, some kind of paper, writing, publishing papers or something like that, definitely. But you can just start, and then you see sometimes just experience counts a lot too.
I love that message, and it's something that we have in a lot of our broadcasts where no matter what you're interested in, whether it's conservation or space or the deep sea, go and seek out those opportunities, do those things, you volunteer your time, and it leads to often some really, really cool things for you guys in life. So great answer, Dominique. Let's take a couple more before we wrap up. We've got one from Berkeley. Very simply, Berkeley loves elephants and wants to know how much baby elephants weigh.
So I wish I knew that. I don't know, and I'm sorry, I don't know exactly how much they weigh, but I would say that they're pretty heavy still. Let me try to remember, because I remember once our senior vet was talking about it. I don't know. I can maybe check and answer
That's
later, but
okay.
I don't really know.
No.
We mostly focus on the weight of the big elephants and things like that, and never
Well,
the
how about
cost.
that? So I'm curious, as a nice follow-up then, if we can't identify the babies, they're big babies, but when they get to be full grown, how big do these elephants actually get?
They can get to 6 tons.
That is like it's unfathomable, really. And I want to follow up with that question. So you have this opportunity to be in the field with elephants. You get to monitor them, go up close and personal. What is that experience like for our kids joining around the world that may never have been out in the wild, never been to East Africa and seen an elephant in person? What is that experience like to be that close to such a magnificent animal?
Yeah, I would say in general, it just shows how small we are as a species, as humans, because they are pretty immense, like massive, and they're powerful. Just their presence is enough. But I would say in Gorongosa, it's even more accentuated, because if you just visit maybe some other places, and elephants are more to they tolerate more people around. You might have just nice lovely experience that they don't mind, they just eat and play around you. In Gorongosa, that can be rare as they tolerate people way less than other places, so you can end up being charged, and that is when you realize that you can really you can do multitasking without even notice. In my case, it's like I am trying to drive and escape, and I'm listening and smelling, and it's all senses up. But the nice times when they just relax, it's really nice. It's really rewarding to see that such a majestic species just allow you to be there and share that moment and see how they play, how they do with the young calves and other individuals in the group. It's really amazing. But most important thing is to remember, you really remember, or you realize how small we are as humans, and we just you know especially if you're in a wild place area like that, in a national park or something different from a zoo, you'll just see that you're also part of that. You are connected with that, you're part of that chain, basically. Yeah.
That is a beautiful message to wrap up on. And I want to share, again, you highlighted this throughout your presentation, but if anyone wants to find out more about the Elephant Ecology Project, all the amazing work Dominique is doing, and learn more and see more from the incredible Gorongosa National Park, head to gorongosa.org. It's a really beautiful website. You can find out more about how you can take part and contribute to their conservation efforts. And it's just an amazing place in the world. So do head and do that when you're done this broadcast. Dominique, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time for us.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Well, we'll see you soon and have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep